Hey, what's up, guys? Stephen Wolf here, and I have the Venom Inc. overdrive pedal from AMM Amplified. Been really digging this. This is probably the clearest sounding overdrive pedal I've ever played. It's kind of in the vein of a Klon type pedal. Um, and what I mean by that is it doesn't really clip your signal. Um, not It's super open sounding, super wide, super open, and also kind of like the Klon. Like if you look here, you've got original and then modded version or modern version. Um, to my ear, the original is kind of like a little bit scoopier, like kind of like old school metal, Sepultura, Venom back in the day. A lot of the bands that were doing thrash back then, scooped the mids a little bit or whatever, and just kind of went that hard hitting sound. And then modern, of course, it's like a little bit more of a high mid kind of thing going on, super focused. So in a way, it's kind of like a Klon, because on the Klon, all you get is a treble cutter boost. And it doesn't really color your tone. That is the beauty of this pedal. If you want an overdrive pedal, it's got a shit ton of volume boost on it. This is it. And not only does it have a shit ton, it doesn't get like crazy clippy on your amp. I mean, I've tried it on a couple of different heads. It really doesn't, like, you can just turn it all the way up and it still sounds like your guitar. It still sounds like your amp. This does not color your tone at all. As far as old school drives like TS9s, stuff like that, where you didn't really use the gain knob, you just turned the volume up to tighten your amp up. This does that, but so much better. It's not a TS9 at all. It doesn't have any clipping I don't know if it has a silicone chip in here or what it has in here, but it doesn't sound like that at all. It's just so clean, so clear. Like every one of my guitars back here. This guy's got my custom Seymour pickup in it. It's kind of like a Nazgul but cleaned up with less high end, so it's not so tinny. Sounds crystal clear, like a bell. This guy has the JB in it, and it sounds just like you'd expect an Ash body guitar with a JB in it. This guy has a straight up Nazgul in it, and it's the chunk from the Nazgul, but so clean. It cleans it up. This one cleans up almost as good as this one with this pedal, which is interesting. But you run it through a Marshall, it sounds like you're running through a Marshall, but boosted without any clipping or any kind of like coloration to your tone at all, which is like, I don't know any other drive pedal besides the Klon that even tried that. And even those, when you start messing with that high knob, you can kind of get lost in that kind of rabbit hole with tone chasing. This doesn't really give you that option. It gives you like the best two sounds. You've got the classic and the modern. It gives you those two options, so there's not a whole lot to fuss with. I got a feeling that Venom, being like an old school band, that he knew that he didn't really want to fiddle with all that. All he really wanted to do was push his amp a little bit harder and maybe add a little bit extra gain if he really wants to saturate. And this does it, man. Another thing I found with this is really good is for a stacking drive. So if you can't live without having a tone knob on your overdrive or in your chain, stack it with like another boost, like an SD1 or something like that, and it works great. If you want to get like a super saturated death metal tone, put an SD1 after this, super thick. So anyway, I'm going to give you guys a sound sample and see what you think. Alright guys, I'm going to do a sound sample. This is a Jackson Dinky with I think it's JB and a Jazz in the neck. It's stock. It's in B standard, unfortunately. I'd like to do something in D for this pedal, be it that it's kind of old school thrash thing, but it does really good with the low tunings too. Playing through a Marshall DSL 20. This is your bass tone. Love that amp. That's pretty standard, but this is it boosted. That's it on the modern. This is it in the traditional mode. Yeah, as you can see, it a little more scoopy. Like if it was an E standard riff, it'd be more, you know. It does really good for that kind of stuff. The lower stuff works good too. Let me show you my favorite setting. That was all at noon. I like to go about 3 o'clock on the volume and just a smidge of the gain. I'm going to put it back in the modern mode. You know, it does it, man. You can boost it more. This is almost halfway. That's even better. It's just, you know, these are a thinner pickup. You know, JB is known for not having a whole lot of bass. So that's definitely what that is. Plus, it's an ash body, going to be a little bit brighter. But it's doing that to a Marshall that sounds like. I hope you guys can get how it's not changing the tone of this guitar or the amp at all. Like, it's like, to my ear, I don't hear any clipping. It's just that the tone of the guitar, tone of the wood, tone of the amp, that's what you're getting, you know. It really does a trick. Now, in comparison, this is the Killmod SD1. Much more clipping, more saturated, which I love. Still my favorite. But here, I'll try and switch them both at the same time. Okay, I did it. Definitely clearer. And just like if I was playing black metal, definitely go with the Venom. If I was playing like a really cleaned up passage that I wanted you to hear every note in something I was recording, definitely go with the Venom. That's why I now have 3 drives on my board. I keep a classic SD1 to boost the Venom pedal for death metal parts that I want really good clarity out of. I keep the Killmod on there for just like flat out death metal riffs, sludgy shit. And then, you know, I can kick them both off and just do the SD1 for like a push clean sound. And it really does the whole thing. Yeah, let me switch it into classic mode. Back into modern. back to the kill mod. You can really hear that saturation. Switch it back to the Venom. SD1. So it colors the tone a little bit in a good way. I like it. But for clarity, the Venom kills it. So anyway, and I'll take the gain up a little bit to show you that. It's still clear, you know? Kills it. So in closure, if you're looking to get something that's going to give you the clarity you want, or you want like the perfect stacking drive, something that you can either use to boost a solo, or something that you can stack with another drive to get ultra saturation but still remaining clarity, this is a good option. The other cool thing is, like I said before, I like to put the SD1 after it for like really sludgy stuff. The last pedal in your drive stacking is going to have the most effect over the tone. So the reason that I do that is if I'm looking for a really saturated, nasty tone, the one that has the heavier clipping is going to give you that, which is the SD1. So I put that after this. Now, if I was going to use this just as a solo boost, I would probably put it in front of that, and then that way my solo would come out clearer, because that's what this pedal does. And then you could use the tone knob on the SD1 to control your overall tone, which, you know, you've already got two options here. The best options, basically, what my take on it is essentially what switched over to original or LTD would be like the 11 o'clock setting on the tone knob on the SD1. And you switch it over, it's more around like 1, 2 o'clock, something like that, which is pretty much as far as I ever go in extremities on that anyway. So I would definitely say it's super versatile in that regard. I mean, use it by itself if you just want to boost an amp and get that classic metal tone, or if you want to really saturate something, hit it with another boost, and I mean, it does it. But you know, it's Ant-Man. He knows his stuff. Everything that he lays his soldering iron is gold, man. So get one. If you can get one, get it. I got a feeling in years to come that these are going to be one of those pedals that people talk about that's no longer being made, and those who have them, and those who don't. If you haven't played one, you don't know what it sounds like. People are just going to be telling you. It's really that good. It's got kind of a cult following, which is ironic for sure. But I think it always will. It's just one of those pedals that's different than everything else, and what it brings to the table is different than everything else. And that's what you want. That's what you'd expect out of a boutique drive. You know, that's why you get it. And this doesn't let you down in any way, man. And the price, you cannot. The price on his pedals are ridiculous compared to like what you're going to get out of Rev or, you know, Eris or any of these other brands. It's like they're selling you the same or lesser quality product. I don't mean lesser quality as in like build quality or their craftsmanship. I don't mean that at all. I mean like as far as like Anthony's ear for what metal guitarists are looking for is a lot closer to what you're actually going to want than I think a lot of the other brands what they're giving you. It sounds to me like when I play Aris Effects or Rev or one of these other companies, they're giving you like this polished sound of what like an album ready sound would be like, which isn't, it's almost like they're mimicking what the modern metal bands are playing, what they're playing on their albums, instead of, which isn't actually their tone, instead of actually trying to match it to what a good guitar tone would be. Whereas this and his other pedals and the amps that I played from him are more in line with like, this is just a great tone, uh, not mix ready, just great tone. And that's what you're really after. You don't want to have, when you're jamming in your house, you don't want to be playing mix ready tones just goofing around at your house. You do that in your DAW after the fact. So, but anyway, enough about that. I definitely recommend this though. And if they're still available, you should get one. All right, guys, keep it metal.